The explosion of testosterone therapy in the 2010s represents a textbook case of medicalization driven by aggressive marketing, cultural narratives of masculinity, and a pharmaceutical industry eager to tap into the anxieties of aging men. Testosterone, a hormone essential for male sexual development and reproductive function, was originally prescribed for men with clearly diagnosed hypogonadism, a legitimate medical condition where the body fails to produce enough testosterone due to injury, illness, or congenital disorders. But over time, the threshold for treatment began to shift, and the line between pathological deficiency and natural aging blurred, deliberately so. Through careful branding and strategic reframing, testosterone therapy was recast not as a treatment for a rare disease, but as a lifestyle enhancer for millions of older men experiencing fatigue, low libido, or a perceived loss of vitality. The result was a massive surge in prescriptions, skyrocketing profits, and growing concerns about safety, ethics, and manipulation. In the early 2000s and accelerating through the following decade, testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, underwent a cultural makeover. Once reserved for endocrinologists treating true hypogonadism, it began appearing in the offices of family doctors, wellness clinics, and low-T centers. The phrase low-T was itself a marketing invention, vague, catchy, and perfectly engineered to resonate with a male audience reluctant to associate with medical weakness, but receptive to the promise of renewed virility. Ads showed graying but muscular men reclaiming their energy, sex drive, and assertiveness, suggesting that testosterone therapy wasn't about treating illness, but reclaiming youth. Pharmaceutical companies capitalized on this shift by developing an array of new delivery methods: gels, patches, injections, and even nasal sprays. The convenience of these products made long-term, repeat use easy and profitable. Between 2001 and 2013, testosterone prescriptions in the United States more than tripled, with sales reaching over $2 billion annually at their peak. The majority of this growth came not from men with medically confirmed testosterone deficiency, but from older adults reporting nonspecific symptoms like tiredness, decreased sexual performance, or mood changes, all of which can stem from a wide array of normal aging processes, lifestyle factors, or psychological conditions. Yet the evidence supporting testosterone therapy for these age-related symptoms has always been thin. While TRT can improve libido and possibly mood in men with clear deficiency, its effectiveness in otherwise healthy aging men is modest and inconsistent. Many clinical trials showed only minor improvements in sexual function and energy, and often with high placebo effects. More importantly, these trials were not long enough or large enough to fully assess the long-term risks, particularly cardiovascular events like heart attacks and strokes, or prostate-related concerns like cancer growth. Several studies and meta-analyses in the early 2010s raised red flags, suggesting a possible increase in cardiovascular risk, especially in older men and those with pre-existing conditions. Though these findings remain debated, they were serious enough for the FDA to issue warnings and require clearer labeling on testosterone products. The crux of the issue is not that testosterone therapy has no place in medicine; it clearly does. But it was aggressively expanded into a domain where the benefits were exaggerated, the risks underemphasized, and the condition being treated was often poorly defined or even fabricated. Low-T was marketed as a disease in need of lifelong pharmaceutical intervention, when in reality it was often a normal result of aging, stress, poor sleep, lack of exercise, obesity, or depression, all issues that require holistic, not hormonal, solutions. Adding to the problem is that many men were placed on testosterone therapy after only a single low reading on a blood test, often taken at the wrong time of day, since testosterone naturally fluctuates, or without proper evaluation of pituitary function or underlying causes. Guidelines clearly recommend confirming low levels with multiple tests and careful clinical correlation, but these were frequently ignored. This led to a treatment culture based more on patient demand and provider convenience than diagnostic rigor. The financial incentives were enormous. Once a man began testosterone therapy, he often required regular monitoring, frequent prescriptions, and periodic lab work, creating a steady revenue stream not just for pharmaceutical companies, but also for clinics and labs. Specialized low-T centers proliferated across the U.S., offering subscription-style care with little oversight. Meanwhile, direct-to-consumer advertising framed testosterone not as a hormone, but as a missing ingredient in the modern man's life, equating its use with energy, success, confidence, and masculinity. This marketing language didn't just medicalize a hormone level, it medicalized a cultural fear of aging and monetized it. In the end, testosterone therapy became a mass-market solution to a poorly defined problem. Men seeking validation, improvement, or simply an answer to their fatigue were sold a treatment that may have provided temporary relief, but often without full disclosure of its limitations and risks. Some may have genuinely benefited, but many others were exposed to unnecessary medication, potential side effects, and a false narrative that biology alone could restore what aging takes away. This saga reflects a broader trend in medicine, the commodification of normal life stages and emotional experiences, where aging, sadness, restlessness, and fatigue are pathologized into treatable disorders, not to better serve patients, but to sell products. Testosterone therapy for aging men, as it was marketed in the 2010s, was less about hormones and more about identity, offering men not just a drug, but the illusion of reclaimed youth. And while the profits were real, the promise was often more myth than medicine.